with Rev Lebaradian from NVIDIA, your colleague, Neil. And Rev is the guy who's, he's taking everything that the other guy said and he's doing it. Omniverse is actually has USD at its core. And, so Rev made a lot of interesting representation about Omniverse. Neil, you want to talk to that?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great example of USD already being deployed in real time and use cases and applications, not just being used for offline movie rendering. And there's lots of cool technology in Omniverse. I mean, there were a couple of examples that Rev was using digital, because he was focused on using on use case for metaverse in industrial rather than consumer and gaming. So it was an interesting, different perspective. Digital twins was one of the use cases. What happens? What can you do if you connect the real and virtual worlds? And all kinds of insights can happen, not just in real time, but if you have enough processing power to start simulating the real world as to what might happen, and if you can do that quickly enough, fast enough, you can begin to predict the future. So that was a very interesting framing of the power of high performance simulation, trying out different future scenarios. Very powerful, interesting idea.
He actually called it out as superpowers, right? If I remember well.
Superpowers, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Rev's a very passionate and inspiring speaker, and I liked that he showed just the scale of the metaverse, which became a theme that we started to see later in the course. Then also looking at all these use cases outside of entertainment. And Mark and I are excited because we're going to have Rev on the podcast this season as well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to talk to Rev. I think he made the case, about real-time simulation, and when you can have a digital twin and simulate the future and having recorded the past, it's like you have teleportation, time travel, and then you can explore alternate futures. So I think it's very powerful. And, the role, he talked a lot about AI and the role of AI and, calling Omniverse a place when robot can learn how to be a robot. I think it's also a good summary of what NVIDIA is trying to do with Omniverse right there.
Yeah. And I like his other example of training a robot inside the virtual metaverse and having it interact with the environment, and then just lifting that training out into a real robot. And it worked. That was another very cool example.
Yeah, we'll see a lot of that in our futures. So